Okay, I'm here with David Chernick from KPMG, the lead driver in the PREFIT organisation and forum. David, why are you doing PREFIT?
We're doing PREFIT really now because employers are just getting fed up with the amounts of fraud that's perpetrated against them by insiders, that's employees, their own employees, contractors and temporary workers. So really employers these days are looking for better tools and better know-how as to how to deal with it and how to prevent it.
Why is fraud so important now? Is it something to do with the recession, do you think?
There are certainly some recessionary impacts. Don't forget that when people are under financial pressure, as they are increasingly, then they become more vulnerable to perpetrating certain acts of financial crime. And of course, with unemployment rising at the pace that it is, and going to be touching levels that we last saw in the early 90s, a lot of people are really desperate for work. Some of those people are going to be, unfortunately, going to be dishonest in their job applications. And that's going to mean we see more dishonesty on application forms, in CVs, and that's really quite unfair for those honest applicants as well. So we'd like to do something about that.
We've heard from several of the presenters today that CVs are being rigorously checked now. Is that the case in your experience?
In my experience, I have to say that CVs are not being rigorously checked, as many people think. Most people these days receive, when they receive an offer of employment, it usually says in that offer of employment that it's subject to satisfactory checks. Unfortunately, in my experience, many employers don't actually go on to undertake those checks. And a lot of job applicants know this and take advantage of that fact.
Moving on from that theme, we heard from one speaker today about journalists infiltrating organisations having posed as something that they're not. Do you think they're doing the public a service by doing that, or do you think they should be prosecuted for it?
Well, gaining work by deception is unlawful. But having said that, that's a very interesting question because, of course, quite often a journalist's motivation is to expose malpractice. And when they're doing that, of course, the public at large perhaps are the beneficiaries. But actually what I'm really worried about is if it's so easy for a journalist to gain employment by lying on application forms or deceiving the recruiters, then how easy is it going to be for a professional or an organised criminal to do the same? And one thing that I've learned having worked in the area of fraud is that in the last 10 years, the amount of fraud perpetrated against organisations that goes through the court system is perpetrated by professionally or organised criminals has gone up about tenfold as well.
Okay, so the problem obviously a fundamental one, it's quite a big one. What can we do to batten down the hatches then from the employer's perspective?
Employers need to really get wise to the sort of threats that they're facing. And even those employers who know what sort of problems they face quite often don't know what to do about it. They face all sorts of organisational problems, conflict between human resources and security roles. I think that hopefully one of the things that PREFIT will be able to do is to bring those two communities together. We saw today at the launch that there was a really good mix of leaders in the HR community in the UK and leaders in security as well, and for probably one of the first times coming together and sharing ideas.
Okay, given that Security Management Today Online is one of the official media partners for this organisation, what's your plan from today? What can you tell the readers? Where do you go from here?
Today is really just the start of what I hope is going to be a growing network of people who share a common goal. And that goal is really about making it available better information about the threats and also in raising awareness as to the sort of things that you can do at a practical level in order to mitigate those risks. So we'll be organising workshops and other sorts of events. We've asked people that are interested in contributing to those and people that would feel that they benefit from those to help prioritise the sort of workshops that we'll run. And we'll be addressing all sorts of issues, be they concerns about privacy and data protection, to the candidate's experience, whatever it is that people find difficult and the reasons that they hold back from doing effective screening.
That's great, David. Thank you very much.
Thank you.